going over my top 6 tools for motorsports fabrication. So let's jump right into it. The very first tool that I'm going to be showing you is this combination square. This one's a 6-inch, they also offer it in a 12-inch version, and I believe even bigger than that. So the reason why I like this is for doing hole layouts. So if you take your piece of metal here and you ride it along the edge, it gives you a perfectly straight line as long as the edge of your material is straight. This piece here is a piece of 1/8 flat bar. So the edge is perfectly straight this way, and this way was cut in the saw, so it's also perfectly straight, and I can check that with this right here. So if I extend this out, I can, if there's not a burr there, check, and as you can see, it's square. So when you're doing your hole layouts, you'll set this square to 1. Let's say you're going 1 inch in from the corner, and you'll hold it this way. Strike your line this way, turn it around, strike your line this way with your Sharpie. You'll normally have to account for that depending on how precise you need to be. And so then you get a hole that is perfectly 1 inch in from this edge, and it will put it in this corner. So that would be the reason why I like this. You can also use it as a regular square. You set it down on the table, and then you have a flat edge there. Or if you're doing a 45, then you can set it like this, and there's your 45. So the next tool on my list is a set of pocket calipers. Got these at Lowe's. They were like $10. Greatest thing ever. If you see a piece of tubing, this is the same size as your standard Harley small frame stuff. The small tubes on the bigger frames. So we'll bring that in, tighten it against, and you see it's 1 1/4 inches. That's what size tubing this is. That makes it very easy when you're dealing with these Harley frames. So you want to know what size it is, and there you go. And they have a multitude of other uses. It's just nice to have. These are all tools that sit on the top of my toolbox, and I reach for them almost every time I'm out here. The next tool is a curvo mark. So basically what this is, for those of you that have not seen this, is a centering head. So you suck it down there, and let's say this was the backbone of your bike and you're going to mount your gas tank on your chopper. You get the bubble level. Let me get it level. And then you'll lightly tap this with a hammer, and then you'll follow it up with a center punch. And as long as your down tubes are the same level-wise, that will give you a perfectly level mark at the top of your tubing to mount your gas tank. It also comes in handy, so you'll mark one end, mark the other end when you go to notch a piece of tubing so it's clocked correctly, so both of the notches are in the exact same orientation and not like this. So that would be why I like this tool. This is something that you see a lot of pipe fitters using, and it's something that I don't see a lot of guys in the home shop using, and that's a great one. That's about 75 to 80 bucks. So the next tool here is a radius marker, and this would be used for marking a radius, obviously. And so it's infinitely adjustable. You can take it on your piece here. Sorry, it's a little difficult to show you. And you hold it on the center, and let's say you want, this looks to be about a 4-inch radius, this is 4-inch flat bar. You hold it in the center, line up your end, and then you mark. Line up your center, and then you mark, and then that gives you a perfect radius for cutting it out. So when you're doing fenders and that type of stuff, it comes in handy because you can eyeball it, but this makes it way easier, and it makes your final product a lot nicer. So that is the 1, 2, 3, 4th tool in my lineup. So the next tool is the Empire contour gauge. So let's say you're making a fender just like this one, which I made for our 1986 mono shock build. So you take it, hold it down on the contour, and then you ride it along the edge. And anytime you see any air gaps, that means you're not perfect. This fender is pretty perfect for what I need it to be, and this tool helped me get it pretty well where I need it to be. So my last and final tool is this Johnson angle cube. And so this is nice for when you have to figure out complex angles, because a regular level only has a couple of choices. You either have straight this way, straight that way, or 45 this way. So you only have 3 choices. This is magnetic, and as you can see, the angle goes up and down. And so let's say you need this to be 33.5, which I'm not holding it at, but then it would be right there. Or if you need it to be at 86, to come in and go right to your tubes on your frame jig. That's the nice thing about this. You can also use it on your bender. When you're bending tube and you have your stub sticking out and you want to have repeatability as long as your bender's level, as it comes up, oh, I see that, and then it springs back because you're using the same material, springs back to the right spot, and there you go. That's what makes this really nice. All these tools are tools that I use very often in the shop, and these are an extension of your regular tools like a level and a drill and a welder. These tools are here to help us create things with metal, and they offer a point of reference in a space that has no point of reference. Like for instance, this I use to create the brackets for the seat pan and the shock mount for that 1986 monoshock build. And the reason why I use this is I can figure out what this angle is on the backbone coming down, figure out what this angle is on the backbone coming up, figure that out, and then put it into my 3D software, and then design my bracket from that. So that gives you an infinite adjustability on figuring out your angles. It would be much more difficult to do it with this than with this. And that's the reason why this little square has saved my butt a couple times. I hope you enjoyed the video today and it helped you think. If you have any questions about these tools or any other tools that I could like, leave them in the comments. Have a great day. Please comment, like, and subscribe.